Welcome to Detangle, where we untangle the complexities of life, one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Kinjal Goel, a psychologist and a writer. If there ever was a strange friendship, ours would be it. My guest today is someone I have deeply admired as an artist. You probably know her for her super hit melodies like Ghode Pe Savar and Phero Najar Se Najariya. We have with us Sireesha Bhagavatula. Welcome to Detangle, Sireesha.
Thank you so much, Kinjalji.
It's been so nice knowing you, Sirisha, since almost a year, more than a year now, and I have been following your journey. It is simply so beautiful.
Thank you so much. And likewise, I've found a beautiful friend. Yeah, so I'm equally happy to be here.
Well, let's get started. So many things that our audience doesn't know about you. Let me start with the questions and let's see where they lead us.
Yes, definitely.
So tell me, Sirisha, tell me all about your childhood. Was it always a career in films and music that you thought about, or did you have different dreams?
So, my childhood was full of music,
Hmm.
but I've never, even in my wildest dreams, imagined that I would take music as a profession. It has always been my passion, and it continues to be so. So, I come from a musical family. Nobody has taken it professionally, but
Hmm.
my grandfather is a poet, writer, drama artist, and he writes songs in Telugu. So me and my sister is also a singer. She's Saujanya Bhagavatula. So we both have started quite early. I think even before my schooling, I was made to join into music classes.
How nice.
So yeah, I think at the age of 3.5, and my sister was 7. So that's when we started learning music. And also at home, there was this musical environment. My grandfather, of course, used to teach us, and my father sings and he also plays keyboard. My mom is extremely, interested in music, and my grandmother is also she has a musical ear. And my aunties, they have done diploma in veena and vocals. So we have quite a musical family, but nobody has taken it professionally. It's only me and my sister who have, started this journey, and it's quite beautiful. We are blessed to be,
How nice.
good with music.
How nice. I mean, there was always a fertile environment for you to grow, and in that you just, kind of took it on.
True, true.
But was there any particular person who inspired you to choose this as your career specifically?
So initially, my grandfather is our role model even now, because he had no godfathers, and but still he made it. In Of course, he has taken both profession and passion. It's
Hmm.
not like he has taken up art as his only way of earning, but still, we used to get inspired. We still get inspired from my grandfather. But other than that, professionally, I think I get inspired every day from the lot of artists that I meet. So it will be unfair if I take just a single name. So right from Lata ji, Shreya Ghoshal, Arijit Singh, Sonu Nigam ji. There are lot of artists that inspire me, and also my co-artists. So yeah, each and every day it starts with a new zeal to do more.
It's just so amazing to live in this inspired way, isn't it? That every day you have inspiration waiting, and then you go hug it and you start your day.
Yeah.
How nice. I know that you worked with the best in the business and you've had some super hits very early in your career. But has this made your path easier, or do you think it has added the weight of expectations now that you've already given such beautiful songs?
Yeah, that is quite a loop if you start expecting things, and definitely it'll turn around. So one one thing that I observed in my life is I've never had any dream of you know meeting great artists or working for them. I think followed the rule that I should do my work, whatever is in my plate. I have to do 100% justice, and the rest will follow. So I've never dreamt that I would work with A.R. Rahman sir, Raja sir, and I would get to sing my Bollywood debut for Amit Trivedi sir. So it just happened. So only thing that I dreamt of is I should be in music. My day should start with music and my day should end with music. That is the only thing I hope even now. So now that there are few hit songs in my bio, so definitely it might lead that I am expecting something more, yeah, something like that. But I have been in that phase as well. So where I had a lot of pressure on myself that what next, what's the next. But now I think the only thing that is in my control is to do 100% justice to what I'm given, and the rest is in God's hands. And I totally believe that.
How wonderful. It's quite liberating actually as a thought because so many things are not in our control. You can do your best, some things might work, some things might not work. So it's quite a liberating thought.
True, true. And I've actually gotten a lot of great opportunities after singing for these legends, and I still am getting. But my focus right now is not on that. My focus is if a composer is trusting me, what best I can do for the song. At the same time, what original music that we are bringing, what impact it will have on the music industry on the whole. So these are the few things that I'm currently obsessed with.
How nice. So, how many hours a day, even now, do you need to practice to maintain your voice?
I heard a recent podcast of I think Hariharan ji,
Hmm.
where he said you should never count how much time you are practicing. So let me be honest, I always used to write down how much time I'm practicing in a day. So I had this weird obsession that I have to make it to 10,000 hours.
Right.
I've read it somewhere that if you practice an art for 10,000 hours, it'll, you know,
Yes, you'll be very skilled at it.
yeah. So I started writing it and I really lost account after some time because obviously things are not the same. Every day is not the same. So I miss it out on some day. Then I'll be on that FOMO. Okay. So then I understood that it's all a vicious cycle. So we have to come out of it. And the only, and also I've read somewhere, I think APJ Abdul Kalam's book that, or I'm not sure about it. Only after half an hour or 1 hour of doing something, you will actually get into that thing. So if you actually practice for half an hour, it doesn't mean that you are 100% focused on it. Only after half an hour, you'll start focusing more. So the initial half an hour is a buffer.
Oh, but you experience that? You feel more focused after
Yeah, definitely. I personally, I mean, although we'll be giving our 100%, but there'll be a phase where you forget what you're doing. And that starts only after a few minutes of getting into that thing. I think it is just like meditation.
Right, you go deeper as time passes.
Yeah, right. And there was a phase, I think, before Indian Idol where, again, I'm extremely grateful to that platform because I've gotten the best coaches there. So my coach has given a schedule where we have to practice for around 8 hours in a day.
Hmm.
And that was the time when I realized, okay, ऐसे करना है. So what all I did, not even mattering later on, because that's the kind of focus you should be, dedication you should have, discipline, and all of that counts. So yeah, I started observing a lot of change in my voice, my singing style after doing that. But I should be honest, I couldn't continue it for a long time due to several reasons because again, we have to work as well.
Right.
So, yeah,
So, what I hear is that a lot of people think that singing is an innate talent, but you're saying that the more you practice, the more the quality of your voice, the quality of your singing actually gets trained, it gets better.
true, true, very true.
So, for all this work, what is the most difficult part physically, emotionally, which is that one part that you really struggle with?
Uh, I feel music is something that makes you happy and sad at the same time.
True.
Yeah, like we'll live in one delusion. Like I'm talking about when you perform on stage, the kind of high that you get
Mm.
is something unmatchable. I think that is the kind of craving a artist would always have, just to be on stage and try to entertain the people listening to you and connect to them, interact with them, understand. Sometimes while singing, I just look into someone's eyes, and the kind of the happiness, the energy that they transfer is like most beautiful thing. And after that, immediately after we finish a show and come back to my hotel room or wherever home, it's just the four walls and me. Of course, like I'm not talking about the family, but when I'm to myself, I would actually get that low. I would go to that lowest low. So I think every musician feels that it's just energy difference. So that is something I've always been curious. Okay, why is it happening? So later I understood that that's how it is for every musician, and that is one thing. And when you ask physically what is tiring, definitely it should be travel. It's so much fun. Travel is so much fun. At the same time, it's extremely tiring and stressful when you have to perform. You have to catch that flight. And
Right.
yeah, so all this stress. And also on the show day, I'll be totally, you know, in that vulnerable state. If there is a show in the evening, from morning, I'll be anxious about how it's gonna be, what are my paths, and all of that. So it's fun, yet, stressful.
I love the way you've described this peak and the ebb of energy because it's so physical, but it's so difficult to describe that you've just been so high and then your adrenaline has just gone and you're in that low. I mean, you can actually physically start feeling it as headaches, as fatigue, as difference in energy, but you've just described it so simply that it's easy for people to understand what artists now go through. So, like you said, music is beautiful, music is heartbreaking all at once. So, as a listener, music can move me very physically.
True.
But you also get affected when you're singing a sad song or a very moving song. Do you well up sometimes?
Of course. And I would mention here that Phero Najariya, the
Hmm.
song which I've got to sing for Amit Trivedi sir. So during the recording itself, there was a beautiful moment that I can never forget in my life. So, like it's my debut into Bollywood, and even before Ghode Pe Savar, Phero Najariya was recorded.
Acha.
So the first time I entered, everything was new. I'm given a brief about the uh, concept. Like she's a playback singer. She's not a playback singer. It's her first playback song. So that's how I should sing.
Hmm.
Not completely professional. Kind of a little bit of immature-ish singing. It should be. At the same time, it should be perfect enough that it should make to a movie. So that was a brief which was given, and Pero Perona Najaria, on the other hand, sorry, I was talking about Ghode Pe Savar, that was the brief. For Perona Najaria, I was told that I have to impress my mother.
Right.
Yeah. So when I was singing that song, I literally, lost myself. And also, it was recorded live with all the instruments. So it was a surreal feeling. This kind of recording used to happen 40 years before, like when there was no advancement in the technology then. So that's how they used to record, right? All the instruments and the singer together. So that's the kind of experience that I got in this generation. So I'm extremely grateful. And when I was recording, I literally, after singing the Peruna Najaria last line, I literally cried. And I could see everybody in the studio standing up and clapping for me, and even Tripti ma'am and Anvita ma'am, everybody had tears in their eyes. So music can do something to you. You just, you know, have to let it do to you. That's the thing I felt. So you should not have barriers. Okay, music, the song is different from me. If you keep it like that, it's very difficult to get into a song. So you have to internalize the song and then it will do magic. So yeah, there are a lot of times that I get affected with sad songs. Especially there is a song called Mujhe Chhod Ke Kyun Gaye by Shreya Ghoshal ma'am, and Hariharan sir has also sung that. And especially this rag called Charukeshi really, you know, hits my heart in a way that cannot be explained. Yeah.
Wow. I think Phero Najariya is one of the reasons why how we met, at least virtually, because
Exactly.
that is the song that we used to play on loop at home. My daughter loves it, my husband loves it. And I was so physically touched by your voice in this song that I actually had to find you. And it took me that, it was that energy behind the song that I reached out to people. I had no idea who you were, I had no idea where you were. But the song was so powerful that it connected us.
Yeah, I remember. I'm so glad that it could touch hearts, beautiful hearts like yours.
How nice. So tell me, you've mentioned a very happy memory already, but is there any other memory which is one of your happiest memories in singing in this industry?
There are lots. Music itself is a very, intense thing that you feel either extremely happy or extremely sad or all kinds of emotions. So yeah, there are a lot of things that make me happy when I'm with music. Like for example, छोटी सी बात है, like whenever I go to Rahman sir's studio, he would, if at all he's there in the studio, it'd be like, hey Sirisha, how are you? So
Hmm.
then I'll feel okay. Wow, he remembers my name. So
Is it-
and
The little things, huh? The little things add up.
exactly. So and also every time I hear audience cheering up for me, and one more thing, like of all the songs, my family is extremely supportive, and but they've never particularly, praised both of us, me and my sister. They wouldn't praise us for each and every release or every song. So they would just be happy for us. They'll keep sharing it. But when I went to my house after Kala's release, my father was humming one of the songs from Kala. So that is when I was, really touched. Okay, now this is an achievement.
How nice. The subtleties of emotions are just so beautiful. Huh?
Yeah, so true. I think that's what we all live for. It's
Right.
not the awards. So definitely Mirchi Music Award, Change Maker Award. I could have easily mentioned it if I would have felt it. Of course, I'm extremely grateful for that. But yeah, there is something more than that. Touching. I think I have to mention. I went to Bahrain, I think, and there was a family who literally came to me after the show, and they were sharing their experience of how Ghode Pe Savar, how Kala changed their lives. So initially, that family may like there was wife and husband and daughter. So the husband apparently lost his job due to some reasons, and he was in a very bad phase. So they used to play Ghode Pe Savar continuously on loop every day, and somehow that uplifted their mood, it seems, and he came out of that depression, and now he's doing extremely well in his new job. So he wouldn't, I mean, he doesn't need to mention that to me and give credits to me, but still he did, which shows how music can move people and change lives. So I felt extremely grateful.
How empowering. Truly empowering this is.
Yeah. So of course it's not at all my credit, but still it's so sweet of them to mention that to me.
True.
Yeah.
So, Sirisha, if there was one thing that you could change about the music industry, at least in India, what would it be?
We have to keep changing with the trends, and of course without losing the integrity. That's what I have been focusing on. But I think this thought of making trendy music instead of touching music
Hmm.
is something that is troubling all the artists, I think. So maybe if we can change that, and I have to mention here, recently we have released, I mean, one of my friends released a song, a retro vibe song, and it has picked up quite well on the internet now. So it's just that we have to put in efforts to bring back the beauty, and we should never blame that audience is listening to this kind of music. whatever we give, they'll consume. So it's on us to work on the kind of music that we are releasing. So maybe if we can, we all can together change it, the golden era of music will be back again.
I agree. There's still a lot of good work happening alongside all this mishmash of trendy music, as we call it. We just need to feed the right wolf. We need to feed the right kind of music so we hear more and more of that.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, I'm glad that nowadays a lot of beautiful music is picking up, and we are getting to listen to that. So yeah, very lucky in that way.
True. So, your field as a musician, as a singer, it is a beautiful combination of art and science. It's all of it in the same breath. You need technique, creativity, and talent to ace this particular zone. But what part of this do you enjoy the most?
So I've learned from my gurus that technique is something that works only when you are practicing. So once you're on, once you're recording, it's only the feel. So like you said, it's a combination of everything: technique, skills, talent. But at the end of the day, it's the feel that touches the soul. So I think feel is beyond everything. And that is what bringing life to the song means, just giving the song the right amount of feel that it requires, that it touches the audience heart.
Right. So, you put all your thought into it earlier, and then all that is left is the emotion, and that is what really matters.
Yeah, that is the idea. But yeah, it's a long way to go, and I'm working on it. And I really love that kind of approach.
Beautiful. So, is there something you would want to tell your 14-year-old self? Let's say you could give advice to a 14-year-old Sirisha. What would you tell her?
Don't waste your time, practice. No, jokes apart, I used to practice, but I've never taken it quite seriously. Like, I used to enjoy practicing. I was in quite a lot of reality shows all my life.
Hmm.
Being a child, I've seen that competition and, the kind of failures, setbacks, um, the humiliations, everything. So I'm glad that I have had a lovely support from people around me, which didn't let me get dejected for anything. So I remember one of the reality shows I got eliminated and I was asked to speak, and I said, I've learned my mistakes and I feel I've won this show. So that is the ultimate goal, that yesterday you might be the winner of the biggest show, but next day you're starting from zero. So if you just carry that forward and go ahead, it's not going to work. So I would absolutely say, don't take the reality shows um, result very seriously, but the journey is what made me. So take that seriously and try to work on your goals.
Very beautifully put.
Thank you.
There are so many things that you've been learning. Like you said, it's the whole journey. I'm sure now, as a professional musician, you also have to learn about finance, you have to learn about the business of music. But is there something you wish somebody had taught you earlier in life, something you learned the hard way?
Yes, like you mentioned, after me and my friend Sterling started this label called Virgo Originals,
Hmm.
so we have understood quite a lot of things. So right now, music is in that phase. Like, I'm not a big shot to say this, but it's more like a business. So keeping your passion on one hand and maintaining the business side of it on the other hand is extremely difficult, because they're almost contradicting every time. So your heart says something, but your mind says no, this is totally wrong. So to maintain a balance without losing the integrity, try to touch people's hearts with your music. At the same time, make money out of it, just because you can invest more and bring more music to people. So that maybe these techniques, or there is a lot to learn. We are still working on it. Maybe if I would have known earlier, it would have saved a lot of time and effort. But still, it's a long way to go even now. I think, yeah, that is something that I would have wished. And also, lot of techniques that I learned during Indian Idol, like I said, the coaches have taught beautiful ways to learn. So if I would have known earlier, yeah. But nevertheless, no regrets.
How nice. So I've known you since a while now, and I know that you've had your ups and downs. Even with your health, sometimes you have to perform, but you're not in the best of health. So all this requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of effort to keep going. So what
Right.
motivates you to do this even when you're at your lowest?
I've again gotten inspired from a lot of interviews that I listened to. So I've listened to one interview where Shreya Ghoshal ma'am said, if you start your day with one song of Lata Mangeshkar ji's, it can never go wrong. So,
Oh, beautiful.
right. So I really try to implement that. So every day I would wake up and start playing Airy Pavan or, you
Wow.
know, Bhor Bhai. And of course, you'll get a direction for the entire day. So that is one thing I'm really, trying to follow every day. So it's just the music that inspires.
How nice. So instead of waiting for inspiration to find you, you go ahead and start your day with inspiration.
So, and it makes a lot of difference. And I've also seen the days when I simply wouldn't start my day with music and it goes waste.
Hmm. I agree. Some people need a workout, some people need inspiration. We all need our own little things. We just need to identify it.
So, and also it's not like what what you do in a single day. It's about the consistency. It's
Absolutely.
about facing the biggest challenge, but again, not refusing to get that into you and just try to leave it and let go of it and go ahead. So all these, it's not like I've learned all of it and I'm preaching it. It's all a lesson for me as well.
True. So, that is one of the reasons I really wanted you on my podcast because I've had a lot of seniors, I've had a lot of veterans in their fields, but for somebody at your age to have done so much and yet learning all the time, performing all the time, it's a very fresh perspective. You're not jaded, you're not set in stone, you're malleable, you're growing, and that's just so, so beautiful.
Thank you. And of course, some days are like unlearning becomes important more than learning sometimes
Oh, yes.
because you come with a preoccupied notion that Acha, if you do like this, it'll work. But when you actually implement it, it's just the opposite. It doesn't work that way. So, unlearning is another very important thing that I've learned from my gurus. Every day you have to unlearn something and learn something new.
Again, a very, 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 very important part because we all have been taught how to learn in school, but nobody taught us how to unlearn.
Exactly, exactly.
Fabulous. So,
And it's only when you go to that wrong path, you'll understand that it doesn't work and you'll change the direction.
correct, it's all experiential learning.
Yeah.
So, Sirisha, mental health has deteriorated all over consistently with the advent of social media. You're quite active on social media yourself, but how do you draw a line and not get stuck in this rut?
Uh, I cannot lie. I think I sometimes get carried away
Hmm.
because I'm always in you know, that line where I don't know whether I should be putting up more content so that I can reach more audience, or should I, you know, detach myself from it and work only on the other aspects. So I've been in that dilemma for quite a long time. So now I'm slowly getting to draw a line where I do whatever is required for social media. At the same time, I wouldn't miss out on what I have to do in a day. For example, if I have to work out, if I have to practice. So first I'll put up a schedule where I finish all that off. Then I'm a bit confident, and then I'll start working on the content side of it. Yeah, just posting photos so as to engage people and posting the photos along with my song so that it's a two-way.
Right.
Posting my song for also being active. So these kind of things I've started finding out and making covers of my own songs, which are not very well received, so that it would, create an impact.
You reinvent yourself.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's a constant struggle, I think. But see, I'm still nothing. I'm just starting my career. But people like Rahman sir, who always is super active on Instagram, sharing so much of inspiring content. I really get inspired from him. The way he's constantly changing himself to keep the trend, maintain the trends. So,
True. So, Sirisha, let me ask you a question that I love asking all my guests. This is something very personal to me. We all have a physical first aid box at home, right? With our band-aids and our little painkillers for those little days of cuts and bruises where we need to take care of ourselves. But what if you had a mental first aid box, which you could just open on a bad day and whatever is inside makes you smile? What would you put in your little mental first aid box?
you know, thought-provoking question.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think my mental first aid box has always been my family.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the memories that I spent with my family, my brothers, my sister, and my friends. And yeah, I would store that in one corner of the mental first aid box, and the other corner, I think I'll go with all the blessings that I receive. I think gratitude is beyond everything. The more I feel grateful for something, the more it attracts positivity. So yeah, I'll always feel grateful for what all experiences that I had in the music field. And to be honest, सबसे बड़ा mental first aid box तो music ही है.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
So I have your song in my mental first aid box. So
Oh, that's really
that is.
yeah. Sometimes I've heard a lot of artists or singers say that they don't listen to their own songs,
Hmm.
but I detach myself from my song and listen to it as an audience sometimes. So that really helps me. Like there is a song called Yano Yedu Sundara, which I got to sing for Rahman sir in Telugu.
Hmm.
So that is one song which really helps me. Uh, in that there is a line called Kalame Ma. Okay, it's in Telugu. So
So
which
good.
says, time will change and you'll find your answers for everything. So that kind of is very healing.
How beautiful. So before we come to an end of this absolutely fantastic conversation, is there any question you have for me as a psychologist?
Oh, okay. Yes, I've been meaning to ask this for a long time, and I'm glad I'm here on your podcast show. So there's a word that is being circulated a lot, like not now, it's been a long time. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
So how do we cope up with that? Because personally, I would give a context. So most of my life, I've been traveling a lot, like for at least for the past 5 years. So I get a amazing opportunity when I'm in Chennai, when I'm in Mumbai.
Hmm.
So I would miss out on that. And there is this constant fear. Okay, what if I'm traveling now and I would be missing out on something? Is there any way to cope up with that, or how to come out of it?
You know, the most beautiful way to counter FOMO is JOMO. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's the joy of missing out. Yeah. It's the joy of not doing things which are not important enough. And you kind of start looking at it from both ways, right? So, because you're in a particular city doing a particular show, you are missing out on maybe an opportunity somewhere, but you're also getting to avoid all the unnecessary stuff. You don't need to be present where, they can just say, oh, you're not in town. So basically, we are all trying to segregate our lives into these little boxes where we do whatever is the most important to us. Everything else is going to be in our faces now because of Instagram, right? Everybody will be posting about it, everybody will be talking about it. So it is elevated, but eventually it was just that one evening which everybody will forget about. or it was just that one thing that everybody will let slide soon. What you experience in person is actually richer than what you have missed out, let's say online or whatever you're seeing online. Just that little experience of being somewhere and, like you said, connecting with people, being able to talk to people, it's so rich by itself. I'm sure your experiences are somebody else's FOMO. So, it's the whole perspective that you've actually missed out on a lot of things that you should not have spent your energy on anyway. Your energy, your experiences, your shows. I'm sure somebody somewhere is saying, oh my God, I'm missing Sirisha's show today. I didn't want to miss it.
Wow, that's a really beautiful perspective. I'm glad I asked this, and I'm glad you asked me to ask a question because, yeah, it totally changed my perspective.
So, I always
Right.
do this. At the end of each podcast, I ask my guests to ask me because psychology, mental health, it's part of all our lives, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a writer, singer, doctor, in athletics, whatever. The mind always plays a very, very important role.
So true. And I've been advised by one of my judges in a reality show that come out of your head. So I've faced that a lot. I've
Yeah.
been in my head for quite a long time, and it's only when I think I might sound silly, but when I started working out,
Hmm.
it actually or doing yoga, it actually brought a lot of change in me as a person as well. So once my head is clear, then I started thinking clearly about what is important and what is not. So yeah, it is true.
How nice. Sirisha, when we started this conversation, honestly, I was here to talk to a friend. I was here to talk to somebody who inspires me. But I have learned so much. I mean, from your dad humming your song to the way you live inspired, to the way you live in gratitude. There is so much for everyone to learn from you. Your humility, your starting off, you're still at the top. It's just so amazing. You bring in a lot. You bring in a lot to the table, a lot of energy to the music world. We wish you all the very best for beautiful songs in the future. We wish to hear a lot more of you. And I'm going to end this with a soundtrack from your own movie Kala so that the audience knows whom I'm talking about. But thank you so much for taking the time and being on Detangle with me today.
Thank you so much. Absolutely my pleasure. And I think my day is gonna be amazing after this. Thanks a lot.
Sirisha, would you like to sing a line from Ghode Pe Savar for us live?
Okay. कोई कैसे उन्हें समझाए सजनिया के मन में अभी तार है जाने बलमा घोड़े पे क्यों सवार है जाने बलमा घोड़े पे क्यों सवार है थैंक यू
Wow, Sirisha, thank you so much. This was the most beautiful end to a most beautiful conversation. Wishing you all the very best.
थैंक यू सो मच थैंक्स अ लॉट